Do you remember that dream that you had? That idea, the plan that you had put into place, that you had started writing things down and you had actually built out a strategy for how you were going to accomplish it. And then people started bringing in all the negativity, whether it was not enough time, not enough money, it doesn't make sense, it's not realistic, so on and so forth. And it got to you. It got to that mental place. I actually had that exact thing happen with starting our marketing agency, and I had all these ideas. I wanted to be creative, and the negative people in my life really got to me, and they started weighing me down, and they started saying, well, that's not going to work. It's not practical. It doesn't make sense. You haven't done certain things that you really need to do in order to make that work. But it wasn't true. They just got to me. So do you remember that idea? Maybe you put it on the back burner, you put it aside, maybe you don't have those notes anymore, but let's dive into what it looks like to actually take that dream and to start taking steps towards reality. Because maybe you have some extra time right now. Maybe you're working at home, you're working remotely, or maybe you aren't working at the moment, and so you have a ton of extra time to invest during this whole chaotic, strange season of life into yourself. And who better to invest in than yourself? So let's talk about that. Let's get amped up, psyched up, pumped up, whatever it is. There's just something I like to do to, get ready and start the day. And you gotta stretch. Much better. See, the problem is that we have these dreams and these ideas and these goals, and we put our ideas down on paper, we put these notes down, and we start making action steps, and then that negativity does come along. The problem is that those people are usually the people that are the closest to us. Those people are the people that are generally people that we trust and we value the opinion of, and they bring in their negativity and they bring in the practical side of things. And is it realistic for you to consider this option? And so within our marketing agency, we decided that we were going to pursue being creative, and we wanted to build a brand that allowed us to work remotely the majority of the time, to be able to travel a little bit here and there, to be able to work with a number of different clients. And so we've been able to do that, but we had a lot of negativity. We had a lot of pushback. And so if that's what you've experienced, I get it. So with your extra time at home, I would encourage you to make an effort towards that dream, to make something of it. There's an opportunity that we may have in resetting some things within our lives, within our world, and to be able to pursue those dreams that you once had that maybe have gone to the wayside, that have been pushed aside, that business model that you created, but somebody said you couldn't do. But right now, there's an opportunity to do anything that you want to do, and just create something different. The first step in this process is to allow yourself to dream. You have to allow yourself to think outside the box and to run amok, to allow your imagination to run amok and go crazy, and think of those things that other people may say that's not even realistic, that's not even practical, that doesn't even make sense. Allow yourself to think those thoughts. Put them down on paper. Think of draw a map of the way that each of these ideas plays out. Okay, here's option A, B, and C, and then we're going to put them down on paper, and we're going to see that A leads to X, and B leads to Y, and C leads to Z. And you realize that, okay, maybe this one isn't quite as realistic, but if I tweak some things, if I change some things, but allow your imagination to go. Don't be hindered by the what ifs, the possibility, the potential, the practicality of these things, but actually start dreaming and think, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to focus on? What is it that I want the end result to be? The second piece of this is to find somebody who believes in you. Find somebody that's encouraging, somebody that doesn't see the barriers and the boundaries that a lot of people see, but actually looks outside of that box and sees the potential, that isn't weighed down by what is realistic, what actually makes sense, what is possible, but thinks outside of, hey, actually, if you do this, it is very possible for you to get here. Or, well, that's your idea, that's your dream. How do we make it work? And so for me, I had somebody that invited me and hired me to be a full-time videographer for an entire year. And that was such a cool opportunity, a cool experience that allowed me to actually rethink some things and find other opportunities beyond that, and that I got to explore and that I got to play with and got to do things, and I got to build my creativity, and it just helped to change and develop me into who I had become, and who I was becoming. And it also developed my art, and it allowed me a lot of freedom within that. So finding somebody that believes in you, somebody that cares about you and that wants to invest in you is unbelievably valuable. And there's probably actually no price that you can put on it. The third thing that I would recommend is that you need to connect with people. And part of this is probably maybe that second step, that person that believes in you is actually going to be a piece of that equation as well. But finding somebody that you can connect with, that can then help you connect with others, and networking is unbelievably helpful. Now, a note to networking: do not, absolutely do not go into networking with the idea that I want to get something out of this. It's the wrong perspective. It's the wrong approach, and it's not going to work because people will see right through that. One of the most difficult pieces of networking that I find is that I hate the idea that somebody might think I'm connecting with them for hopes of getting their business. And that's never going to be the case. That's never who I am. That's at least as of right now. And I hope that's somebody that I never become. But I never am trying to build a friend because I want their business, because I want them to work with me. But what I want is I want to know who they are. And I tell people all the time within our marketing agency, if I didn't have to charge you, if I didn't have to make a living, I absolutely wouldn't, because I love what we do and I'm passionate about what we do and I believe in the value of what we provide. But I have to make a living, my team has to make a living, and everybody deserves to be paid and deserves to be compensated for what they do, for their art. And so all that aside, within networking, you have to be willing to invest your time into building relationships with people that you don't know. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and get rid of the sales dynamic. Don't allow it to be salesy. It has to be genuine, heartfelt. I care about you and I want to build a relationship with you. And I think that's where it starts. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, is coming into networking events and connecting with different people and handing out their business card and thinking, okay, call me. And really going into it, realizing that, okay, I'm going to meet a ton of people and none of them are going to call me. None of them are going to need my help. None of them are going to need my services. But all of that to say, network with people, get connected with people, get in touch with people, learn who people are, fall in love with who people are, and fall in love with what they do, and fall in love with what they provide, their services, their opportunities, and just get to know them on a very, very personal level. And it is amazing what happens as a result of that. Going all the way back to the dream. What is your dream? You probably had a dream. And right now you've got more time than ever before. The world has more time at home than they've probably ever spent at home. We've got events, we've got birthday parties, we've got to go shopping, and we prioritize these things, whether they're actually important or not. But the world has more time at home than they have had in a very, very long time. And so you probably are included in that. You've got more time. So why not invest in yourself? Invest in that dream that you once had. Invest in that idea that you had that started to blossom and flourish until negativity got a hold of it. It would be a shame to let that dream die. It would be a shame to let that creativity, that excitement, that passion, and that joy disintegrate because somebody said it might not work. Now, if we're all honest, it might not work. But isn't there an excitement in trying? Isn't it worth giving it a go to see if that person's actually right? If it's somebody that you value the opinion of, then talk to some other people. If it's somebody that, maybe is closely related to you, is really close to you, family, friend, I don't know. Maybe it's worth listening to, maybe it's not, but you've got to try it. It's worth a shot. Because do you really want to look back in 15, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and 6 months and say, well, I guess I should have at least tried. I could have gone for it, but at this point, I'm not even there. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share this with somebody that it might be helpful for, and we will see you in the next video. Have an incredible day. Go out, be creative, dream big, and we'll see you next time.